Today in the crypto space, we're seeing the market getting a bit of a bounce to the upside. Bitcoin at about 62,300, give or take. Ethereum above the $3,000 mark, finally. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, not too bad. Seeing Toncoin, Arweave, Pepe, Render, GRT, and many others get a nice green bounce to the upside. In today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about one altcoin, one project that has dipped down to some critical levels. And of course, that project is called SUI. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome on the channel. We talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunities. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 7:30 Eastern, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here with the market. We see the overall market cap getting a nice little bounce to the upside right now at about, $2.4 trillion, which is pretty good because we got that little relief to the upside. And we see, a little bit of a volume kick in here, but at least we're seeing the market hold steady with regards to volume. Now, I'm curious here. I'm curious to see if Bitcoin is going to get that bounce. Guys, we've been talking about the Bitcoin bounce the last couple of days of that structure, and it's been playing out absolutely perfectly. And ultimately, I've been seeing a lot of other people on the socials talking about the same structure that we've been talking about days and days ahead. So that's pretty good. That's trying to stay one step ahead of the market is the way we do it here on the channel, and so far so good. Bitcoin doing its thing, getting a bit of a bounce. If it does happen, we'll look at the Bitcoin price in a second to look at the big picture structure, because right now it's critical. Bitcoin does continue to the upside. We could see the market just absolutely rampage. Bitcoin's confirmation at the current levels would be absolutely epic. Okay, so we'll take a look at that. Ethereum, getting a bit of relief to the upside. The general market, look at Solana up 2.3%. We have Toncoin waking up, of course, another 11% to the upside, and a lot of green throughout the market, but minimal. Just there is green, but it's not a lot. Meaning, we see a lot of the altcoins in green, but only about 2, 3, maybe 4%, give or take, which is still not a bad confirmation, a bit of proof of life that the altcoins could be waking up. So it's not too bad. Look at Render. Render has no chill. 12.5% to the upside, up 40% in a week. Pretty crazy stuff there. H-bar looking okay. At least it's going sideways. It's up 11% in the last 7 days, which is not bad. Big picture. Pepe waking up. We have a few other projects that are still in retracement phases for sure, kind of holding back. IMX, although it is up 2.7%, big picture, it has a lot of work to do before it gets that rollover to the upside. Filecoin as well, it's waking up a little bit, but you're not too far off from the bottom if this is going to be the bottom. And that's why I focus heavily on bottom dwellers. Heavily. Like when I see a project such as Caspa, 3 days ago, I did release a video prior to this rally where Caspa was looking primed for a nice reversal based on fundamentals, of course, based on community, based on volume, based on many factors, and based on price action. All of a sudden we're seeing Caspa run. So the important thing here is when a project hits those really good horizontal levels of support, your risk to reward ratio is healthy, and the market tends to want to take a bit of risk based on those ratios. So at the current moment, we're seeing a lot of the market rally up, a lot of strength throughout the market. However, look at SUI. Look at SUI coming down 11%. Now, it's one of those things where it's like, we're hitting a nice psychological number, $1. We have been coming down significantly in the last little while. We do see that the rest of the market is looking a bit more bullish than SUI at the current moment. As you can see, look at that price action, quick dip to the downside. But the thing is that if it's going to hit a wall, remember, SUI ran up pretty hard earlier on. Right now, SUI is at about a $2.3 billion market cap. Now, you know, it is a larger, more mature type of project at the current moment. It could easily do a 10x. I can see that happening, you know, for sure. But why not expect it to get a bottom very soon? Why not expect that eventually this sell-off is going to be over and that we hit those horizontals? And that's why here on the channel we focus on buying the dips. Dips are what we focus on, bottom dwelling price action, where we can get in at low prices and start building positions, obviously at critical levels. That's what we're looking at, and I think SUI is definitely at that level. So let's continue going down. Thorchain Rune, great project. You know, I've been always talking about Thorchain Rune and how I like it. It is one of those that when it wakes up, it starts to run. I packed my bag way earlier, and all of a sudden now I want to just let it run. I don't want to focus on it right now. I just want to let it do its thing. It's up 25% in the last 7 days. I think it's going to be one of the better gainers in the in this bull run, no doubt. It is at about $2 billion market cap, which is again very mature. A 10x for sure. Why not? Why couldn't we see a 10x at a Thorchain, right? Especially if we see the total market cap hit about $5 trillion, maybe even $6 trillion. Who knows? But we could see some of these altcoins definitely 10x. Phantom is another one that I'm bullish on. It's up 3%. I was thinking about doing a Phantom video today, but I've already covered Phantom so much in the past where I was accumulating heavily. Now it's about, you know, what opportunities do we have now with these newer projects such as SUI? You know, that's why I want to focus on them, because they have a little bit more, you know, emphasis in the next little while because they're new. Phantom has been around. Phantom is still great tech, no doubt, but my bags were already packed a while ago, about a year ago. So I feel like if you're not into Phantom right now, I understand that you may be on the sidelines ready to deploy capital. But me personally, I would be focusing on the newer projects, no doubt, and maybe peppering in a bit of buy orders here on Phantom as well, because it still needs to really wake up. I think it still has a lot left in it. Now, I did buy the dip on Celestia. Celestia is one of those projects that, you know, it's either going to make it or break it. You know, I'm not super bullish, but definitely the retracement was there, so I took full advantage of it, trying to buy those bottoms. And Core is also just dipping down 20% in the last 7 days, guys. If we're bullish, you know, start looking for those bottoms, horizontal bottoms. Let me know if you want me to release a video on Core, because ultimately, as we do come down, we're going to probably hit eventually the true value of the project where the sellers are done selling. And that's the question, is when is that going to be? We do have Akash network waking up, guys. Akash is doing pretty good here, up 15% for the day, 20% in the last 7 days. You know, I think that should do pretty well here. It's at a $1.1 billion market cap, which means if I think that a $2 billion market cap project can 10x, maybe this could do a 20x. All very possible here, guys. So you understand how market cap really does affect the possibilities that a project could do, especially ecosystem projects. Ecosystem projects can really move based on, you know, it's overall fundamental support of an ecosystem. So I do appreciate them. Ondo's looking pretty good. The market in general is looking okay. We're waking up a little bit. I wouldn't, you know, getting in too heavy here, but definitely if you've been scaling into some of these projects in the last little while, guys, you're deep in the green. You're definitely in some green. Guys, overall, the market is green. We're up more or less 2, 3, 4%, give or take, on the depending on the project. Not too bad, but generally speaking, guys, we need to keep on hunting for those opportunities. So, all right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. What's going on here with Bitcoin? Bitcoin is respecting the TA. Guys, in the last little while, we've been covering Bitcoin very accurately lately. We've been covering this potential bounce and potential support that we're getting currently at this horizontal support at about 60,100 more or less. You know what? Let's look at this in a little bit more detail. You know, really, it's all about probability. It's a game of probability. Obviously, I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know exactly where Bitcoin's going to go. I just felt that, honestly, this horizontal support was a level that needs to be respected. And it's all about volume. Volume and price action. No momentum oscillators, no trend oscillators, nothing like that at the moment. Just pure price action. Those momentum oscillators, like if you're going to be using the MACD or RSI or anything like that, or my custom indicator, Synergy Signal, if you're interested in that, go check out the links in the description. If you feel like you want to check it out, join the Discord. I got some info there for you guys because it's been on fire lately. But we do see that we're respecting the TA, the horizontal support, definitely looking good. We got the volume gap right into here. I love the volume gaps. They do definitely give me a lot of, you know, let's say confidence in the market. We fell below, we swept the lows, we got a bear trap, we whatever you want to call this, right? A failed breakdown. Came right back up and now is respecting the horizontal again pretty accurately here, guys. And last night when we went live 7:30 Eastern, feel free to join, I was like right here getting support, and as the night was ending we were seeing that this thing was getting a bounce. Now at the moment we are seeing a decent little pattern. If we close the daily candle and basically engulfing the previous candle on Bitcoin, that's another bullish confirmation here. Now it could be considered a bit of a tweezer bottom, not so much, but okay, fine. We held this horizontal very nicely. I really would be bullish, a lot more bullish, if we engulf the previous candle. Nonetheless, guys, this horizontal, if we get this continued support here at this level and we start breaking the previous high, it's going to be classified as a change of character in this current structure, which would suggest that the price is going to potentially get right back up to about 67k. And if we break this horizontal pretty much, which is at the heart line of this channel, or even this bull flag, if you want to call it that, because it does look like it, we're going to start touching the range highs. And you know what's going to happen at range highs. The bulls are going to come out full effect and expect this thing to break out. And the retracements in a bullish market, just understand that they're not so deep. They're not going to retrace so deep. That's it. Maybe this was it. Maybe this was it, guys. I'm not going to be totally bullish at this current moment. Obviously, there's a lot that still needs to happen here. It would be really nice to see this be a bottom. But when also you're going to take support for potential breakout out of this bullish pattern, this bullish, flag. If this is a bull flag, this is your opportunity. So I always say, get in where there's a great opportunity for invalidating a bullish thesis. Where would you invalidate your bullish thesis? This horizontal, guys. If we fall back below this horizontal, stop yourself out. No big deal. But at least you know that you got in at a great entry. Risk to reward ratio is absolutely healthy. Let me show you what I mean here real quick. If we get in right now, let's say hypothetically, and we put a stop loss right underneath here, we could hypothetically get to this top, no doubt, 2.5% risk to 2 to 1 ratio, 2.5 to 1 ratio. What about if we get to the range high? Of course, 5 to 1, that's great. What about if we break out? Obviously, the sky's the limit. Who knows, right? Price discovery things. Now, what we could do is take a bit of profits right here, trail up the stop loss to this level, and let it go up to this level, take more profit, another 10%, and trail up the stop loss a bit higher, and let it break out. Because if it's going to break out, great. You didn't reduce your position size significantly, but you have trailed up stop losses that are going to protect your entries, your gains, your entries, everything. Basically, your position will be protected. At this point, you're only risking a little bit. You're only risking a little bit for a potential healthy return. And this is talking about Bitcoin. But what about if you apply the same theory and the same thesis to the altcoin market? What do you expect the altcoin market to do if Bitcoin gets a bottom or a nice bounce right here? It's going to run. It's very likely that we're going to get a nice huge bounce here on the altcoin market from this level to this level. Right? And that means that it will most likely outperform Bitcoin significantly, especially if you're in the healthy projects. And considering that the Bitcoin narrative has been dipping down in the last little while, I'm curious to see how the reaction would be in projects like Space, Mint Layer, even Stacks for that matter, because it's a larger cap in this case, but still part of the Bitcoin narrative. Could we see a massive recovery in those altcoins that have been bleeding out in the last little while? That's why I focus on those bottom dwellers, because they give us the best opportunities. All right, guys, so that's my take here on Bitcoin. There's no point in getting into momentum and all of that. We're still hesitating here. We're in a good place to take a bit of risk, and this is why I've been deploying a bit of capital throughout the altcoin market in the last little while, because if we do get that reversal, altcoins will fly. All right, guys, let's take a look at SUI. SUI, what is going on with SUI? SUI coming down to lower levels. We were super bullish on SUI in the past. Look at this nice run to the upside. We see a nice double top, or a higher high for sure, and that definitely is a potentially bearish divergence. We'll take a look at the oscillators in a second, and then all of a sudden a big huge dump to the downside where we're testing horizontal supports. This is where the magic has to happen. This is where, if you're on the sidelines and you're looking for accumulation, you want to get some exposure, there's a lot of good bullish hype with regards to the SUI ecosystem, given the fact that it's focusing on gaming and so on and so forth. It could be a great opportunity. Number one, that you're not buying tops, guys. You're not buying up here. You're not going to be exit liquidity. You're at a good level of a retracement. So let's look at what kind of retracement we're dealing with before we look at the oscillators. Let's see what's going on here. Swing low to absolute swing high. We're at the golden pocket as we speak. golden pocket 618, 618, right, perfectly being tested. Now, do we come down further? Just keep in mind that we have a volume gap. And also keep in mind that we are hanging out in this area, filling up the volume gap, but it's still not filled. Okay, we're slowly going to fill it up. As we do bring volume into the zone, we could see the volume profile fill up. At this moment, it's still a weak spot. We could still drop to about 86 cents. That would be a great opportunity to take on a little bit more risk. Just remember, this strategy is all about DCAing, a lot about building a position, right? There's no real indication that we should be going absolutely heavy. Why? Because right now we're still making lower lows and lower highs, right? If you look at the price action, there's no real indication at the current moment that we're pivoting to the upside. We need a change of character. We need a higher high or a higher low and some sort of bottom, some sort of bullish divergence on the momentum, something to give us a little bit of an indication that this horizontal support is actually going to hold and not cause the price to keep on falling. Just keep in mind that is what we call catching a falling knife. But DCAing small and slow and steady is equivalent to just building a position, and it's not really trying to catch a falling knife if you control your position size, because really you're not going all in. You're slowly building a position into this level, and as we get those confirmations by going sideways and building a nice pivot point type of pattern, we can deploy a lot more capital with more confidence at this golden pocket. Keep in mind that the 786 is all the way down here confluent with this little volume gap, but look, the probability is that we start holding support levels, whether it be 786 or even golden pocket where we are right now. This range is the time to start building over time. As soon as we build a little bit more confidence with the confluence that we get in the charts, we could definitely build more and put more capital into the position. Let's look at these momentum oscillators now. What is the likelihood that we're seeing weakness from the bears, that the bears are showing exhaustion? Well, the expansion is definitely massive. Look at this expansion to the downside that we've got here on the momentum oscillator right into this level. Look at this huge dip. By the way, guys, if you're interested in this indicator, check out the description. I got some information for there. Join the Discord. The Discord is the best place for you to get that info if you need it, if you want to look into this indicator. But you can see that the expansion to the downside is super strong and came down, and obviously we can see that the momentum at this current stage is all getting back into oversold conditions, making a slightly higher low at this current moment. No confirmation just yet. We made a nice low here. Let's hypothetically say that we make another higher low. That could be a nice bullish divergence. What I do like is that the volatility right now is oversold, which means that if we get the volatility start running to overbought conditions, and then we start to see the momentum also run up to overbought conditions, we will be trading the trend of the momentum alongside the volatility, which means that we're trading volatility to the upside, which is what we want. We want volatility. How else do we trade if the price is not volatile? But what we want is momentum in a direction where we can trade this volatility. And if the volatility is going up, we want to trade the momentum to the upside. So this is what we're kind of looking for, is this scenario where we see the volatility move up and the momentum move up and the expansion finally potentially get into a nice green expansion, as we have done in the past, showing that the bulls are now in control. I would love to see some green dots here, guys, but we have to wait and be patient, because those are going to be our confirmations. As soon as we get those green dots, we get lots of confirmations of the state of the market that it could be continuing to be bullish. At this current moment, we're getting confirmations that it's still potentially bearish. This is why we're trying to stay one step ahead. Remember, that's part of the thing here. We got to come up with our offensive plan and be prepared for what the market could bring us in the upcoming days. And could potentially giving us an indication that we could be entering a support zone again right around here at about $1, maybe as low as about 90 cents. That's what's interesting to me. So that's what we see with momentum. We're almost there to get those confirmations, because you can see the price action right now is making a lower low right into here. You can see the current scenario making slightly lower lows, excluding the wicks, guys. You got to exclude the wicks. And if you look at the momentum, the purple line, it's making a slightly higher low at the current moment. It could get invalidated by dumping right through to oversold conditions, but as of now, we're doing okay. On the other hand, if you look at the trend oscillator, totally different ball game, guys. We're getting bullish divergence with the confirmation of that bullish divergence, which I absolutely like. Look at the expansions to the downside. We're getting trend expansions down, and this one is smaller than the previous, while the price action is coming down further, suggesting that we have class A bullish divergence right now on the trend oscillator. So for me, that's a great indication with this confluence right here with that green dot that takes in a multitude of factors to give us that indication that we're getting that pullback or that pop to the upside is there. Just keep in mind that we could get multiple drives of bearish divergence. What we really have to put emphasis on is price action. We're a tad early, but it's not bad because we're hitting those horizontal supports. This is the critical level. This is where emotions kick in from people that have been holding, people that want to buy the dip. This is where things might get interesting. Now, we do see the MACD kind of going sideways. I'm working on a new update for the indicator with regards to the MACD. I feel like the MACD needs an update, and I have a couple ideas that I'm going to be implementing in the next little while. But look at the MACD, how indecisive it is. It's basically going sideways. So even though the price action is falling, the MACD is going sideways. That's class C bullish divergence, which is still okay. Not the strongest sign of divergence, but still okay with this indecision. Sideways sometimes is okay, but we're getting indications on every other front here that we could potentially get that bounce to the upside. So again, if you're on the on the sidelines, personally speaking, I wouldn't even be getting into lower time frames. We could go look at the 4-hour, but what is the 4-hour really telling us that the daily is not? The reality is we're getting all kinds of good signs on the daily already. We could be getting that bounce. We're getting divergences. We're getting everything we need on the daily. There's no real reason to get on the 4-hour at the current moment because of the level that it's at. It's at a great horizontal level of support that can be identified on the daily, on the 4-day, pretty much even on the weekly. Now, if you look at it, reality is that we have this volume gap, we have these tops, we got this top, and we got this bottom, and we got, of course, this bottom that we wicked right through but held support. It got bought up real quick. Algorithmic buy orders just bought it all up, and it closed the daily candle above it. We got the dead cat bounce. Now we're testing it again. So you understand why this area is a very emotional area, and we could expect a bit of liquidity, get tested in this area. And in some cases, we could even see a nice bounce in this zone where we get into a nice huge rally or something like that. But I think what we need to do is focus on our entries. Are we buying a little bit here? And of course, that is where I would like to buy. But if we get a sign of reversal anywhere around this area is a great way to start DCAing. I would do a 30-30-40 rule, 30% now, 30% down here, and distribute 40% right within a structure that we could form like a W, inverse head and shoulders, cup and handles, Adam and Eve pattern with bullish divergence. Guys, that is an epic setup for potential reversal here on SUI. Guys, if I've offered you any value here in this video, do the channel a massive favor. Slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. Take care, guys. Have a good one. And don't forget, buy the dip.